Well, guys, greetings. It's the first meeting in February, and we're less than 1 month away from the Vintage Electronics Expo 9 on March 1st. Um, and speaking of which, I'll just cover any announcements I need to make, one of which is, of course, um, there are still plenty of tables available. So if any of you are thinking about selling anything, there's still, the last I looked, we still have plenty of tables, more in the center. They're not the perimeter tables with power at this point, but we do have tables available. So if you think about it, you're in good shape. Um, but it should still be promising. It's still early February. We oftentimes get some of a hockey stick effect where people stop buying tables right up until the last day practically. So um, in fact, I'll be posting the next table assignment probably this weekend when Al Perkins gives me the next update. So that's probably going to be pretty soon. So don't hesitate to think about buying, and hopefully, if you're not buying, hopefully we'll see you there purchasing. So let's see here. In terms of announcements, um, let's just go over a couple here. Coming right around the corner on February 7th. So that would be Saturday. We have the Connecticut Valley FM Association annual swap meet in Charlestown, New Hampshire. So if you're looking for something to do, there's already something coming your way. Just don't spend all your money there because you do have our Vintage Electronics Expo. Um, also, um, there will be Music Expo's vinyl record show in Dedham, Massachusetts that same day on February 7th. And that goes from 10 a.m. to 3. So if any of you looking for vinyl, and I imagine you may find some CDs or other media there. I've never been to any of those shows, but I imagine, you would find other alternatives. There's your place to go. Easy enough to get to. And on the same day, February 7th seems to be chock full of good things to do. The first swap meet at the Vintage Radio and Communications Museum of Connecticut, yeah, that's in Windsor, goes from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So there's plenty to do this weekend. So wherever you may be living around here, there's somewhere to go. And then following that, on the following weekend, on Valentine's Day, there'll be the Algonquin Amateur Radio Club annual flea market in Marlborough, Massachusetts, and that goes from 9 to 12 p.m. Um, so that gives some pretty good things to do until the next Zoom meeting. And you know what? I got to reach out to the end of February just to get the people thinking about it just before our big show on February 28th, the HamCon Vermont Ham Radio Convention in Colchester, Vermont from 8 to 1 p.m. So that's way up there. I've been to Colchester because I have family in Colchester. Um, and but that's an easy drive. Just take 89 and it's not far off of there. And you'll have something else to do at the end of the month. So let's see, anything else I want to add? Um, oh, I thought that was, oh, no, I kept that. The cancel event is off the calendar in Chicopee. And that's it. Of course, March 1st, we know that's the big event. So those are all the announcements I have. Let's see, Isaiah, did I cover everything? Let me double check the chat. Did I cover all the things that you wanted to? Yeah, exactly, Isaiah. Yeah, Gary just shared that the Hamfest in Chicopee is canceled. In fact, I just literally updated the calendar um, on WordPress when Gary shared it to take it right off right then and there. Um, Now, somehow or another, I don't have this. Did I cover the CVFMA Hamfest in Charlestown, New Hampshire? I want to make sure I did catch that. There is one right around this Saturday, so hopefully I caught that. Let me just double check, make sure my calendar reflects that. Um, um, Yeah, I did. Okay, sorry. I must have just had a brain freeze that I just already covered what what Isaiah already shared. So, did anyone have any other announcements they want to share with the group that I might not have covered? Um, Events or things to do, or sometimes things pop up that we didn't know about. And, with this kind of weather, people are looking for other things to do indoors other than
Um,
shoveling. Sure.
just want to let you know, I'm new on some of the amateur nets. So they mentioned that there's a boat anchor hamfest going on up in Augusta on February 14th, Augusta, Maine.
No, I did
Uh,
not. I don't think that's on the calendar. Um, George, if you
That's
have any info on that, if you could throw it in the chat window, I'll throw it on the calendar after
oh,
the
I'll,
meeting.
I'll get it to you, John. Give me a minute.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Because I always like to try and cover you guys because you know what? That's the one thing our club has a challenge that probably few clubs have is that we are probably the biggest for square miles. Our club has probably the biggest reach because we have 6 New England states. Forget about the members who are joining from remotely or used to live in New England and joined, remotely now, like, you know. So so I like to make sure that we don't no one state is left uncovered if we can. Um, let's see, anything else beyond what George mentioned in Augusta, Maine? Okay. Well, it's great to have you guys. As you know, it's an open forum meeting, so I'm just going to go round robin and you guys can, take over, and each of you can tell us what's going on. If you want to show something or show your collection, whatever you want to do, it is an open forum. Um, and we'll just go from there. So I'm going to be just sort of random about this, but you know what? I'm going to pick the first guy that practically joined the meeting today. So I'm going to start with Andy because Andy's one is actually new to joining the Nevic Zoom. And
Cool.
so a warm welcome to Andy joining.
Thank you. I see one person here I know. Dominic, how you doing? Good to see you here. And nice to meet the rest of you. I plan to see folks in person it's Wyndham, right, on March 1st at the flea market you guys are going to have there. Did I get that date correct?
March 1st.
Yep. So I will
In
be there.
Wyndham.
I will
Yeah.
miss the one in May because I will be at Dayton, hopefully as a presenter, but we'll see how that goes. I'll be there one way or the other. And you can see some of my collection in the background. And yesterday I finished bringing a Zenith Transoceanic H500 back to life that was given to me by a fellow ham who made me feel guilty by saying, take it or it's going in the dumpster. Not many of you have ever heard that before, but so I've got that one in the done pile now. I may build a battery box for it like I did for the H500 that I did maybe a month ago. But I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. And I'm starting an SDR project with some of the friends of mine up at the Makerspace in Nashua so I can learn a little bit more about that technology.
Great. Great. Now, Andy, if you want to if you want to actually, show some of your radios behind you or anything, you feel free to, use the time. There's no exact set time limit here, but feel free if you want to.
Okay, well, I figured people can take a look, and I did this earlier. I'll go slowly, and it's a little further away, but
Here,
folks
I'll
who are very
spotlight. There we go. Got everybody in spotlight so you can see a little bit more.
okay, there we go. So folks who are familiar with these will know what they are a mile away, and
Oh yeah.
this is half of my basement. I've got room for one more set of shelves. I said earlier, some of the ones that I consider nicer are going to go upstairs. I still haven't created a shelving solution for them yet, but I will. And the one that I just brought up there and very nearly herniated everything I own is a Majestic Model 50. And I got that from Rusty in Hudson, New Hampshire. You folks may be aware of him. But
Wow.
that's it. I've been retired for a year and a half. I have fun bringing these radios back to life. I don't think what I do is restoration because I don't repaint them. I don't refinish them. That's not the skill that I bring to the table. I can go through the electronics and take out the waxy capacitors and get rid of them and do some other stuff and make it work. And I'll clean it up. But the other skills I don't have. And so I'm a little bit of patina is okay. To me anyway, but I appreciate the folks that have those skills and make these things look new or better than new. And I do have one or two specimens like that upstairs. So that's pretty much it for me. But thank you, John, for giving me the chance to say hello to the group.
Yeah, no, glad to have you, Andy. And always nice to see maybe longtime members who actually haven't had a chance to join a Zoom meeting to come on and take a peek, if nothing else. Yeah, we can certainly appreciate. We have some members, as you've seen, that do terrific cabinet work. I mean, like Greg Van Beek, for example, is sort of he's on a regular, and he's sort of one of our gurus. When you look at his work, especially when he shows his before and after photos, you're like, well, okay, that was a basket case, and he brings it to near new condition. So that's that is a skill set that has managed to evade me still, but. So usually anything I have is usually in pretty nice shape, so I don't have to deal with the major overhaul cosmetically. But I really tip my hat to the people because he does both the electronics and the cosmetics, so he's covering it all. So, but yeah, no, that's great. Well, hope you will join in the future, Andy. Glad to have you. And so let's see here. Well, let's see what else we pick on here. Hey, Gary, what's going on?
Oh, me?
Who, me?
Okay. Well,
Did I catch you napping?
well, the last time I was on here, I remember I was working on a Westinghouse receiver, AM/FM receiver from 48, and that's done. And it turned out that the IF transformer was now right with the correct value capacitor in it. I did that. For $5, I picked up a parts radio at Kutztown last May. It happened to have a good mica cap in that IF can. I took it out, I measured it, and rather than put an old one back in, I put a new one back in, and I that would be for sale at the next swap meet that I go to, the parts room. But I don't know if you guys ever saw the radio that I was working on. Oh, someone here, and I don't remember who, asked me where it was made because he said he lived near where Westinghouse radios were built in New Jersey. I don't remember who that was.
Had to be Bob.
Okay,
that man right down there.
Okay. I thought it might be you, but I wasn't sure. Unfortunately, this was made in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. But
that was the factory prior to them moving to the factory, and they finished up in my area.
Yeah. Let me get the radio and show it to you.
Sure.
Oh yeah, go grab it.
Appreciate this. This isn't a lightweight.
Yeah, with new mica caps, it must have brand new sounding thunder and lightning crashes.
If you go on YouTube and you go look at, there's a creator called Shango. He actually has a video where he actually took a green light and shined it down on top of a clear bottom IF can. And you could see, like, he had the radio playing. You could actually hear the static and see the IF can arc. That is a nice radio.
I love that because
Wow.
I've seen those. And it's
One of those compact Westinghouse units. Nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that a cool dial?
It is.
Yeah.
Plus, I think it has separate lights for AM and FM indicators, if I recall correctly.
It doesn't highlight the band, the numbers in the band, but up at the top and at the bottom, one says AM, one says FM. That's lit up.
Yes. I thought that's really. I love that look of the sweep. I thought it was really cool, and that's isn't that what is that right? Late 40s, Gary.
48.
48.
48.
48.
Does it have an RCA jack in the back for like a phonograph or something too?
That's in great.
I don't remember if that one had one or not.
That's in great cosmetic shape, Gary.
That's a beautiful set.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm a little jealous there. That's pretty cool. I like it.
And I have to reveal my secret.
Aha.
As to how I get them in this great cosmetic shape, I buy them that way.
There we go. I see a jack.
Yeah, there's a phono jack. And
yes, there is.
A plug to plug the turntable into for power.
Yeah, great. You could get a vintage turntable to go with it.
That is cool. That is really nice.
That is a nice set.
But what's particularly interesting is, I don't know if you can see it. See in the top, the bow tie type antenna?
Yep.
It's a built-in antenna for FM.
Yep.
And can you see the wire around the back, the perimeter of the back? That's
yes.
AM antenna.
Oh, very good.
and this uses miniature tubes, octal, and two loctal tubes in it.
Wow, that's kind of unusual. It must have been whatever was on the parts bin where they're trying to. That's really interesting.
That when they went shopping, those tubes were probably available cheap,
Yeah.
so they grabbed them.
Well, that's love it. I love that radio. I'm actually quite fond of that little period of AM FM radios because the designs were still kind of carried the motifs from the 30s were carried over. Some of the Art Deco were still in the cabinets before 1950 or so. Then it started 50 became a little bit more, more modern, if you will, for lack of a better word, with the plastics and the sort of little more modern look. That's what I like about that Fada Model 790 that I own is sort of that similar genre. It really has a nice sunburst style, and it's got the sort of the has got the ornate cabinetry with the gold mesh grill cover, if you will, grill mesh. That's great. Well, I love it. That, of course, like that. I can't remember the model number, but the Zenith, the Charles Eames Zenith with the um, chevron style dial face. And but yeah, no, that's great. Love it, Gary. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So now is that done, or are you still working on it?
I say it's done. Maybe I should go back and touch up the alignment. I don't think I have to because I only fiddled with the first IF transformer, and I peaked that. Maybe I should go and revisit the alignment, but I got to see how well it works. It's hard to give it a good. Right now, it hasn't left the basement, so built-in antennas don't work as well as they do, 8 feet higher up.
Yeah, yeah. But
here's
still,
here's my current project.
Okay. Let's re-spotlight you here. Let's see what you're up to.
I'm gonna have to move the camera.
Okay.
Can you see it right down there?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This one, it's a Clegg Thor 6.
Oh, okay.
What it is it's a 6-meter AM transceiver, built-in VFO or crystal operation for the transmitter.
Wow.
And it uses the tube type's a 6883, but that's just a 12-volt 6146. So it puts about 50 watts out. And back here, I gotta see if I pointed to it right there. That thing I'm pointing to, that's the power supply for it.
Oh, okay.
And the high-level plate modulator. The plate modulator uses a pair of 6BG6s, which were like early 50s horizontal output tubes.
Interesting. No, so roughly what year was that made?
Oh, that would have been early to mid 60s.
Okay. Wow, great. And not a name you hear very often, and for AM transceivers. Wow. Look at you, Gary. Looks great. You have some good stuff going on.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Oh, well, thanks for sharing.
In fact, I am giving up there's a group of us get on 6 meters down here in the Hartford, Connecticut area, Springfield, Mass, Hartford, Connecticut area. Usually I'm talking on them tonight, but I sacrificed myself to join the NEVIC Zoom meeting.
Wow. Well, we very grateful, Gary. Very grateful.
Up in New Jersey, we tried to piecemeal a couple of the members of the NJARC club because there's a bunch of us that had like a Clegg 6er, or they had two, or Heathkit had them. Number of different companies had them. We were going to try to get some nets established that never took wind. So the fact that you can use that, Gary, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you. I have also a Clegg Zeus Clegg Interceptor pair. I've had the Zeus is a big transmitter, about 150 watts out. And I've had that for a long time, but I bought it back in the days before cable TV. And the last thing you want to do in a neighborhood is put out a 150 watt 6-meter signal. Because the next thing you know, my neighbors will be coming down the street with pitchforks and flaming torches. So I never really used that in all the years I had it, but I may now. I could do it now and be okay. Just the weight of that power supply is freaking unbelievable.
I bet. I bet. Who needs to go to the gym, right? Who needs to be in traction?
Yeah, that's more like it.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Gary. That was awesome. Really
Oh,
liked the both the radios you showed, but certainly that Westinghouse certainly caught my eye. But so let's see here. Well, you know what? Since I see his head in the picture, I'm going to call on George there while he's available to chime in if you want to.
Oh, I tried to look up the stuff here on um, the um, the Augusta Hamfest, and I finally got it copied into a thing. But now I've got you stuck in a picture in picture.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
anyways, I've been working on a Silverstone console that had been sitting here for a long time, and we decided that it was one that we'd like to bring somewhere, but of course we want to get it working. So I've been digging into it and trying to find the right schematics. Has been an interesting challenge, and I know that there was a couple of errors in the schematic. So and then someone else had their fingers in there somewhere and replaced a 2 meg volume control that was center tapped with a 256K non-center tapped volume control. And I have no idea what they did with the rest of the circuit. So it's one of those things of got to undo whatever someone else did before you can start putting it back right. So that's what I've been doing. We've been kind of busy. My wife had an operation. She's recovering and doing okay. And
Oh, good to
me,
hear.
I'm just continuing on continuing. So, but I just thought I would like to just kind of see what's going on there. Meanwhile, I'm busily cooking my our dog's meals for the next couple of days.
All right, the dog
Leave
cooking
him to
meals.
him. So,
These
yeah,
dogs.
he gets better. He's better than we do.
I was gonna say, the dog must be psyched. A cooked meal, nothing out of a
Yeah,
can.
well, chicken breasts and greens and pumpkin and you name it. He gets it. So anyway,
Nice, nice, not a problem. Well,
yeah,
thank you, George. I'm glad to be able to just pop in for a moment. I saw you, so I figured I'd grab it while I could.
great. Thanks.
You bet. Let's see here. Hey, I'm gonna call on Mark. We haven't seen Mark in a while. Good to have you. Whoop, you're on mute there.
I should turn some lights on and figure out where I am here on this thing. Well, I can't even see myself. I put up the thing on speaker view, and then I can't find myself.
We can
We
see
can
you.
see you.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Right.
So I
How's it
don't
going?
usually get on here because I have choir practice standing on Wednesday evenings, and they canceled it. Actually, they canceled it the last 2 weeks, and then because of the snowstorms here.
Right. Because you're in
No,
the Carolinas, right? Yeah.
yeah, and we didn't get a lot of snow or ice where we are, but on either side of us, lots, 10
Oh, you
inches.
were in
Yeah.
that notch in the middle there then.
Yes, exactly.
Are you in the triad, Mark?
I'm in the triangle.
Okay.
I'm in Chapel Hill, actually.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, it's
As they say in Massachusetts, ITP.
That's
yes,
right.
exactly. Yes. But I saw you're going to have the, show off something from your collection or something you
Yeah.
got recently.
You're welcome to have the floor for whatever you like, because we haven't
Yeah,
seen you in a while anyway.
let's see. Turn on some lights and
All right.
the background, wherever that control is. I don't know where to find it anymore.
Oh,
The,
the share?
not the share, but the how to turn the background off. They
Oh,
oh, there, yeah, the video
yeah.
background someplace, adjust background.
Yeah, there you go.
Otherwise, I can't show anything. So you get to see my messy room.
Oh, okay. Now the reality comes in. That's still a great background.
Yeah.
That's a cool advertisement to your left above the
Yes,
wall.
that on the other side there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a go-go mobile.
Yes.
I owned a little red go-go mobile for several years.
Oh, did
Nice.
you?
Micro cars. Great.
Yeah.
Two-cylinder. It was the big engine, 400
Right.
cc.
Wow. Okay. It's a stoplight racer.
Yeah, exactly. I think I got it up to 50 miles an hour once.
Oof.
It was exciting.
But
I was
there's
going to say that had to be a handful.
Yeah, it was. It
well,
actually handled pretty well.
It was
And the
pretty
brakes
good.
Yeah.
well, it's funny. I was at a car show. Just a quick tangent on this. There was a Vespa 400 at the
Ah,
show, and it was in terrific shape. 14 horsepower. In
yeah.
fact, that's the license plate said, and it had he had a little decal as Scotty from Star Trek. He goes, "I'm giving it all she's got."
Yes. Yeah, there are lots of jokes to be
Yeah,
made about microcars.
yeah.
Yep,
That's funny.
There was a Subaru 360 at a car I went to recently, and it had little decals on the window. Like one of them said actual size.
Yep, yep.
That's funny. Yeah, they're cool. I enjoy seeing them.
Oh yeah, luckily they're in Brookline, Massachusetts, or used to be in Brookline, Massachusetts. He's out in Sudbury now. There's a guy who is probably the biggest collector of
Yep.
microcars in the country.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
He built a special building.
Charles. You're talking about
Charles,
Charles.
yes,
Yep,
Charles
yep.
Gould.
Charles
Exactly.
Gould. No, I know him well.
There you go. Excellent. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he would have a party, an event at his house every summertime.
it is such a wonderful party if
I
you're
used to show up with the biggest car there because I had a 72 MG midget, so it had 4 cylinders.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly.
You were the hot rod muscle car of the group.
Exactly.
Pretty nearly, yes. Certainly the heaviest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's funny.
he's the one that got me into microcars, and I bought this one from California.
That's cool.
So
So,
we'll get around to radio or electronic
yeah.
stuff.
So what you got?
My recent collection added to
Oh. Ooh.
5527. Anybody know what that is?
I don't think so. At least not I do.
Not one you probably recognize.
Huh.
Ah,
It's
Yep.
it's called the Experimenter's Iconoscope.
Huh.
A 2-inch end-fired iconoscope tube, 1947.
Wow.
And
Looks mint.
So that's
It-
electrostatic deflection.
electrostatic deflection, yes. And
Not bad for the kid from down south.
I saw
Wow.
this and grabbed it. It was much more than I wanted to pay, but I've been looking for an iconoscope forever. And so essentially it's arranged, the pin out is arranged like an oscilloscope. So all the deflection, cathode, and so forth are all the standard connections. So essentially, if you've got an oscilloscope of appropriate size, plug this in, and you're most of the way there. But the connection for the if I can find it here, there we go. Right there is the video signal.
Ah.
So a little clip attaches there, and all the indications are that I've read about this. Besides the fact it's an iconoscope, so you got to have the sun, preferably 1 or 2 suns available to illuminate the scene. It's very, very, very sensitive to any noise at all. So it's you got to pretty much wrap the whole thing up in a very electron tight box in order to get a good signal out of it. And even then, it's a challenge. I
Interesting.
built at RCA in the 70s. I worked in the television camera department.
Oh.
And so to have at least the possibility of a of an iconoscope, a working iconoscope at some point. That would, it's an aspiration. I don't know. I've got a lot of aspirations that may never see the light of day, but I've got the most difficult part now.
That's really cool. So you'll have to join us later when you're showing us how things are evolving with this.
Yeah.
Have you ever sat in on any of the Zoom calls of the Early Television Foundation, the
Oh
ET?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm a member,
Okay.
and yes, so I've seen picture. They have a World War II era iconoscope camera active at the Early Television Foundation Museum, so you can see a picture, and it's a challenge. I
Yeah.
wrote. I'm the television correspondent for the Antique Wireless Association's magazine.
Oh,
Okay.
I did an article, see, the last article, I think, of television guided weapons in World War II.
oh, sure.
Yeah, both the Germans and us had TV guided weapons. They were all failures, well, almost, because
Yeah.
electronics was really, really, really new. Put it into combat, not so good. But it was great fun to do the research and see all the things they tried.
Well, it's kind of funny, as I seem to remember, Mark, and maybe I'm wrong, is I have this vague recollection of seeing an article about they used early autopiloted like aircraft, like they tried with the B-17. I thought they had a television camera, so part of
That's correct. Yes, that was part of the things that they tried. And
yeah, I can only guess that it may have crashed the plane ultimately, but it was still an interesting idea. Given this is 80 years ago.
right.
You know, it's
Yeah,
remarkable.
they took what they called war weary B-17s that engines about the worn out and everything else, and they packed it solid with explosives. The whole plane. They took out everything else except for the bare pilot's compartment, and the cameras aimed at some of the instruments and a camera aimed forward.
Yep,
And so it was like pilot had to take it off, get it airborne.
yep,
Once it was stable, they would bail out, and then
yep. But
and
that
was
is neat, though. I have to admit, when you think about it, I
yeah,
mean, it's just remarkable. Of course, today we can, we got drones, and that does everything.
yeah,
Take off,
everything,
landing, everything.
yeah,
And they
yeah,
even stop by to check in. You know,
yes,
that's really an early drone. Really think about it.
it
Really
was,
early
yeah,
drone.
yeah, it was fascinating that they could manage to do that.
Yeah. So really tip our hat for really bleeding edge technology that's 80 years old that we laugh today at because,
Mhm.
that's all miniaturized.
They were trying everything, I think. One of the things I stumbled on when I was doing research for it was there are some pictures of some of the prototype aircraft that they were using uh, to test these things, and it was on the deck of a carrier. And I thought, oh, that's odd. The carrier was in Lake Michigan.
Ah,
And that led me down a wonderful rabbit hole. There were two training carriers in World War II because they couldn't afford to dedicate the few aircraft carriers they had out in the ocean. So they converted a couple of lake steamers into aircraft carriers. So it's the only coal-fired paddle wheel aircraft carrier.
how interesting.
Isn't
How
that
interesting.
crazy?
That is.
That is so crazy. And
Wow.
it was good enough. It got enough speed, and it was just long enough deck that they built on it that they trained almost all the early and a lot of later ones, I guess, a lot of pilots, just gigantic number of pilots for carrier landings and takeoffs.
Interesting. Now, were they using, I wonder if they're using biplanes, or were they using, or,
Oh no, they were the
using
standard
this?
airplanes. They were the
Wow.
yeah.
And so
They had to use what they what they were going to be flying.
that certainly makes sense. I was just thinking, boy, do they have enough runway deck, no less to be able to generate enough speed to get it into the wind, to flip it into the wind. I hope they can get the thing off the ground,
Yeah,
clear the deck.
there
It's
are a number of those old airplanes in the lake that they find every so often.
Yeah, I've read stories about that, and they either said they crashed, or maybe to your point, to your story is maybe they never got off the
Never
never
got
got
off.
off the deck and sort of went splash. Um, that's really interesting. I'll have to see if there's any photos like on Google
Oh, there.
on
Yeah,
this.
there are some whole things on YouTube, some
Hmm.
whole documentaries on that.
Oh, I gotta look for that. That should be fun to watch. Because I did not know they existed. Coal-fired, paddle-wheeled
Yes.
aircraft carriers. This is the only country on the planet that did that.
Yeah, I would hope so. The Wolverine and the Sable were the names of
The
the.
Wolverine, the Sable. Wow, that's good stuff, Mark. Cool. That's good.
Okay,
Well, thank you. That was fun. That was fun. So,
who's next?
oh, okay. Well, let's see. Let me. I say, just ping me when you feel like you're ready to get your mic going and you want to present. Just throw something in the chat window, and I'll pick on you.
Yeah,
Um,
check, check.
oh, hey,
Hey,
there
all
he is.
right.
Were
Hey,
you
good
ready to
luck.
go? Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I don't normally talk during these meetings, so nice to actually chat. I picked something up on eBay that I probably shouldn't have, but some of you folks, especially you hams, might find it interesting. So let me get this set up to share.
Sure. No, your video is off right now. Ah, here we go.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn sharing on. That would have helped. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You think after doing this, for 5 years, I'd remember to flip it on, but I'm spending too much time talking to you guys and not paying attention to what I should be doing as a host.
So let's see. Let's see if this works.
There we go.
All right.
We're on.
So I probably spent a little more than I should have on this, but it's one of those things that they say the time to buy it is when you see it. I'd never seen one of these before, so well, first of all, I'm trying to hide these sharing tools. They're right in the way. I can't figure out how to move them. Well, we'll just have to stick with this. So this is I believe an early 40s or late 40s, I don't remember. Transmitter. The TBS in the model number here stands for Talk Between Ships. So it
Oh,
was originally designed for naval communications, and it's I've got a few photos here. So this particular model, you can see it's got the different bands here. It goes up from um, 40 meters all the way up to, actually, I think it does 80 meters as well, all the way up to 6, and it also does 2 meters. The 2 meter antenna is interesting because, well, we'll get to that. I think I have a schematic somewhere, and I can try and share that. These are just some of the photos inside. There's a couple of uh, can style electrolytics that I'm going to have to replace, and I took this picture trying to figure out the best way to get to it. So that'll be
hmm.
fun. But it's partially recapped already, which is kind of
Yeah, I
nice.
see that. Yeah.
So this is the antenna jack for an external whip antenna for the 2 meter um, circuit. And what I find interesting is it's actually coupled to the output of the 811 um, transmitter tube here, just with a coil of wire. So it's completely isolated, and it's just a kind of an air core transformer that passes the signal through to the 2 meter whip. I just found that interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, bent pins that need a little bit of tweaking. Okay, so there's the 2 meter whip antenna connection here. So um, I'd never seen that before. I was I was trying to figure out what exactly this was at first because I didn't read the manual very clearly. I didn't not in much detail. I kind of skimmed through it, and so I missed that there was a separate um, jack for the whip antenna, and so it took me a moment to figure out that's what this is. But um,
Interesting.
let's see if I can go back here to some of the other pictures.
Cosmetically, it's in great condition.
It is. It's in excellent condition. Some of the screws, it was missing a screw here. The clip that sits on the inside of the case here had broken and the screw fell out. Who knows how long ago?
Hmm.
Um, so one thing I forgot to mention is it's either crystal or VFO operated. It's got two sizes, two different crystal jacks. It's late. My brain's not giving me the words right now, but
No worries.
um, and I lost my
Hmm.
arrow to cycle through photos. I've got more photos, but
That's weird because I see it on the right.
We
I can
see it
see
on the
I,
right.
I can
Yeah.
see on the right.
yeah,
I
and
can't see on the left.
I have more before more photos in this folder, but I don't know, for some reason Windows isn't
There you
letting
go.
me cycle through. But
There you go. You cycled
oh,
through.
I guess it is. Okay. All right. Well, there's a better view of the band switch here, and again, my sharing tools are right in the way. Is there I can't see if there's the 80-meter band down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it says 3.5
Oh,
megs
dude.
on there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're
Sounds
right.
about right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the sharing tools are right here, right in the way of what I'm
Oh,
trying to
of
see.
course.
One thing I will probably do is replace the mic jack. Um, I'll probably just use a TRS um, jack instead. But there's multiple versions of this transmitter. There's the TBS 50, the 50A, the 50B, 50C, and 50D. Each of which have different functions. They're optimized for different uses. So the TBS 50 is optimized for CW only. Well, no, it has a mic jack, so you can use a microphone, but it, it's designed for low impedance dynamic microphones, I believe. The 50A and the 50D have some preamps. They have a three tube preamp, I think, um, to preamplify and to help with the impedance matching for more modern condenser style mics. So the 50A is one of those that works best for high impedance microphones, which happens to be what I have the most of, so that kind of works out nicely.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if there's really much else. If anybody wants to um,
Hard to
comment, if anybody
lens.
knows any more history, I'd gladly hear it.
They were
Um,
made right nearby in Southbridge, Mass.
Oh, really?
no kidding. So they're pretty local. All right, that's awesome.
Wow, look at that. That's pretty impressive there.
Do you know what
Yeah,
that
very.
transmit tube, the power tube is?
It's an 811A.
Oh, okay.
I want to say there were different versions that I've seen people swap them out for, I think, a 6146. Um, I'm sure there have been all sorts of tube rollers with these, but for a transmitter, it's pretty straightforward. The circuit. Oh, that's right. I was going to see if I can pull up the circuit here. Um,
Yeah, the circuit you showed earlier showed an 807 in that
Yeah,
spot.
I always thought they ran on
oh,
807s.
you might be right. I might be
Yeah,
misremembering that. It might be
811
the 807.
is a bigger tube. Is that wood? Uh, oh, it's laying on a bench. Okay. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Looks
No,
like it.
I think it's on the bench.
Yes. So that's just laying on a bench there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I stole some of these photos from the original eBay listing.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to switch the screen I'm sharing because
Okay.
I do have the schematic open on another
Sure.
page here. Let's
Yeah,
see.
take your time.
There we go.
I remember the CD room at the town hall having one of those.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, back in the mid 60s.
It is the 807,
Yeah.
so I appreciate the correction there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So now this version, so this is the TBS 50. This one here is the 50A. So you see it's got the addition of this preamp front end here. Got a couple of 6L6s driving the modulation transformer. I think that's modulation transformer.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the 50 version, this is the 50A version. So yeah, this is a whole board, and this is where those electrolytic caps are that need to be replaced. So
Hmm.
that'll be fun. But
Hmm.
um yeah, I there's not a whole lot else to look at here, unless somebody wants me to zoom in on any particular area, but it's a very simple transmitter design. So yeah.
That's really cool. I
Great.
mean,
That's my recent purchase. Like I said, I probably overpaid for it. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but it was interesting and it's free shipping. So that's
well,
kind of what sold it for me.
That's yeah.
Did it come
so
with a power supply?
It did not. Power supply is pretty basic though. I
Yeah.
actually have
Yep.
a schematic of that too. Um, where
I,
is
I
it?
won't I won't tell you the one at Nearfest a year ago with supply and in perfect shape for $50.
Yeah, I paid a little more than that for
Yeah,
this one,
I don't want
unfortunately.
to mention that because that make me feel bad.
salt wound. Well,
Um,
those two sentences of I probably shouldn't have bought it and I probably paid too much are two sentences I think most of us have used some point in our ownership of a piece of vintage electronics.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you get a certain amount of joy out of it.
yeah.
Exactly.
I figure I'll fix this one up. I'll get it on the air. I'll play with it a little bit, and then I'll let it go. I'm not expecting any kind of profit on
Mm.
fixing this up and selling it. It's just yeah, it's just going to be a fun kind of thing.
A
Um,
question, if I may, on just looking at the schematic, I see the inductor filter on there at 10 Henrys. That
yes,
that that seems big. Is
it
that typical?
does. I think that is accurate though.
Look at the
Hmm.
size of the capacitor, only 12.
Hmm.
And
So
only one.
yeah, and only one. So this
Yeah.
is a choke input filter and very much following the design of power supplies from the 20s, where you'd have gigantic inductors and little tiny capacitors because they knew how to make inductors, but they did not know how to make big capacitors.
Exactly.
I have a
Interesting.
question about that, which I'll wait till you're done because I have to leave soon, but I was going to ask a question about this sort of thing.
Mhm.
I'm pretty much done. Again, very basic power supply. Really, the most difficult part is going to be to find the power transformers that can supply the current required. But I've got a whole stash of them. I'm sure I've already got what I need. So I figured I'd just throw together my own power supply.
And you had a low high QRP setting.
Yeah.
Yes, that was also in the manual that I found interesting and um, yeah, it just adjusts the
Be
plate
fine.
voltage. That's all it does. Anyway, yeah,
Very interesting.
that's all I had. So,
Oh,
yeah,
I think
thanks for watching and thanks for the input.
no, that was great, Isaiah. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's really cool. You don't see those very often.
Yeah.
Um, uh, in fact, actually, oh, John, did you have something to say or
Oh, no,
no? Oh,
no,
okay.
just waving at
Oh,
you.
okay. What I'm gonna do is, well, I'm gonna switch to Dominic just because if you have to leave soon, maybe I
Yeah.
could get a few moments of your time. So, what's going on? Good to have you. I haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah, I don't get to this all that much. I'm retired, not really working mostly. Envy Andy at times. Andy is a club mate. He's, a friend of mine. Doesn't live very far away. Um, but I'm trying to, so I have my goal for this year. I want to get some contacts in that Bruce Kelly contest. I mentioned this to Andy and to the local club here. So I've picked up a bunch of Type 27 tubes. I've got a transformer that puts out. In fact, I picked up one from one of your club members, Ken Silvestri, I think his name is. So an 800-volt transformer. I'm going to have to dial that back somehow. But that's going to have to be part of a power supply. So that's where my question was. So that contest is for pre-1929, and it's really about the tube and the Hartley transmitter circuit. So I'll put that together. But to the extent that I can, I want to try and build a power supply from that era as well. And so this was what I was partly interested in what you put up just a minute ago, and the comments that somebody made about from that time period, having a really great big wonking inductor and a little capacitor. So just looking for any advice along those lines, especially since that's, the transformer that I've got is kind of starting with higher voltage than I'd want to put on a Type 27, from what I understand. Maybe up to 250 is sort of what I've seen. But anyway, open to any suggestions here.
Dominic, on mine, I built a TGTP. In fact, you can see it as WA1KPD if you go to my QRZ page. What I did for the power supply is I had gotten an older GE or Atwater Kent from the 20s, 30s area when they first broke into AC. And you can find those for nothing if you're not worried about cosmetics and so forth, which you're not.
Mm.
And I just took that supply out of there, mounted it on a piece of shellacked oak. It had a good size inductor. I had to melt the tar out of the capacitor cans and put new caps in. But it looks, it's all original parts. So that's, yeah, 800 volts on a 27.
I would fry that.
Yeah, yeah. I certainly would get a much lower transformer if you can't go the other route. So
Can you picture flash bulb?
yeah, yeah. So and make sure you get the right filament voltage too. That's an easy
Yeah,
one to
those the
screw up.
27s are 2.5 volts for the
Yeah,
filament.
yeah,
And along the lines I was gonna so I need to maybe find a rectifier tube if I can, rather than just putting in a bridge. And
yeah.
the Type 80s I think
I used an 80.
yeah, an 80. And those I think those are good for potentially up to 500 volts, but of course that's far above what the 27 would be using. So
Yeah,
I'll have to figure out how to bring that down.
yeah. Yeah, it's a fun contest. Even if you don't participate, if you just go and listen, even if you can't copy CW.
I'm working on it. Andy is, an inspiration. He apparently a few years ago went from nothing to being a pretty good expert now. So
Okay.
that's a great inspiration. We have somebody else in the club who's woman whose name I've just forgotten now, but she went from what is CW to head copy at a crazy rate in months. I mean, it's like, oh my God.
Well, if you have an SDR, they're really fun to look at on the SDR because they all look kind of like fish hooks.
Okay. Okay. Well,
But
that's my
yeah, it's a
goal. Is
fun.
so the comment building that one, getting all the pieces. I figure if I should be able to get it all put together by the time that contest rolls around. I've made one or two CW contacts so far, and I can sort of ish copy some things around 15,
Oh,
but
there you go. The guys are not fast on it. If you send me, I don't have anything to write with right now, but WA1KPD, if you look up on QRZ,
I will.
send me a note. I will copy out of the 1929 handbook their power supply design.
Oh, great. Thank you. Great. That's great. I appreciate the input, everybody. And I do have to go now, but I
Not a
will
problem.
drop in as I can. It's an interesting crowd, and seeing the variable backgrounds full of interesting gear that I can see here too. So that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with that.
I'll have to do something like that too. And I mean, Andy's background is real, so that's something too. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dominic. Have a good one.
Dominic.
So, John, how's it going in Long Island?
In New York.
Yeah, in New York.
I'm coming along, coming along. I have two separate things I want to show.
Sure.
One, I was trolling in my basement and I found stuff I didn't know I had. Plus, I picked up a radio the other day, but let me show you what I found in the basement.
Oh boy. All right.
I found this is
Oh, good practice.
it's a code practice set made by Bud, of all people.
Oh,
And you have
Interesting.
a phone connect for a headphone connection. This one uses one, I guess it's a rectifier too. It's a 117/L7. And here's where the key would plug in, and has a Utah speaker. And it's a nice, it's heavy. I didn't even realize I had these, but I also have
That's cool.
the L7 is a combination rectifier and triode. So you run it as an oscillator. I actually had a transmitter made out of one of those.
And this one's an ICA one that in the front it has connections for the headphones and key. And this also uses the same tube, by the way.
Interesting.
And I saw online they also had a terminal strip on some of these, and I don't know what it connected to. Maybe a speaker. I have no idea. But they had another version of this also had a second tube. But anyway, it's just interesting code practice sets from I guess the 50s, maybe earlier. But I
Maybe
found
it was to set up a second key so you could sit and have a QSO with a buddy at a table
Yeah, there you
to
go.
what a
practice.
good idea. You could
Yeah.
test each other.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But the other thing I did pick up, and normally I'm not in the mood to, I'm getting rid of stuff nowadays, like many of you. We're finding our basements full of stuff. But I did pick up a radio that normally I would not pick up, and I'll show you if I could share here. Okay. And all right, here we go. I have some photographs of it, so just give it a second to hold on here. Oh, wait, it's coming. Now I'll show you why. I normally don't pick up anything solid state. And here's a GE thing, and these doors open. Now this is sitting on top of my washing machine at the moment, so you could get an idea of the dimensions.
Okay.
And then the doors open.
Huh.
Now I'm thinking, like, what happened is a woman I have known many years, she called me and said they were selling the parents' house, and this is sitting there, and she said, "Are you interested in this thing?" I go, "Well, I didn't know what it looked like, so I have to go look, because you never know." Plus, this house was actually her grandparents' house that was built in the 1920s, and the grandparents, the grandfather was a distributor of Atwater Kent.
Ooh.
All right, now there was Atwater Kent radios there, and like their business had brochures and stuff with the company name, and they were in business till the 1940s because they were selling Atwater Kent automotive parts.
Oh, right.
AK made parts, but I couldn't get any of that. The family kept that stuff. But anyway, so this GE is sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh man, why do I don't want this? It's solid state, obviously. And these two doors here, she thought they were speakers. She goes, well, I plugged it in and it didn't make any sound. I go, okay, but I did ask if she had speakers for this thing, and I'll show that later. But what interested me in this is if I show the back, well, here's a close up AM, FM, and it has bass, treble, balance.
All right. So stereo.
It's stereo, and different functions switch here, loudness even. Oh, that's volume. But here's the back. Oh, that's a close up, another close up.
Yeah. It takes photos, so you can input something.
You could plug in a phonograph to the back of it
Right.
also.
Right.
Here's the back, and then I realized I wasn't looking at this close enough. And a telescoping antenna.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 11 tube radio.
Huh.
Really?
All right. And I said, well, I'm willing to take something that's tubes in it, at least it has tubes and 11 tubes, and it's really a hybrid because it has transistor output.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so let me just go back to the beginning. I'll show you. Here's a picture. Hold on here. This is a picture of the two speakers that came with that she didn't realize. She said, oh, I have some speakers in the other room. Maybe they're just, and I said, oh, that's the speakers for this radio. And each speaker has a tweeter and I guess a mid-range or woofer to it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting. And for $20 I gave her, I get to play with another tube radio. But it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And I found the Howard Sams. I got a printout of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's from January 1965.
Makes sense. I was thinking maybe
Can you show the front of that again?
Yeah.
Of the radio?
No, of the brochure of the Sams.
The Sams.
Yeah,
now, see what it is.
See how thick the doors are? Because I had a very similar unit to this. You see, the speakers can be on hinges, and I think you'll find out that the outputs of the amplifier go to the hinges.
Not on this thing.
Not on this one, because it looks like on this one, you see how thick they are? Because I had one where the speakers themselves were connected to the amplifier via the hinges, and then you could lift those off of the hinges and then use a cord with an RCA jack to get more separation from the speaker box.
Yeah, this one, I thought that, actually, I even thought something like that at first, but there's no connections here. And on the back of it is the output for the speakers to plug in. And anyway, it's just an interesting thing. And again, it's from 1965. I guess it was at the end of the tube era.
Yeah.
For RCA, for GE.
Well, just like a lot of the car radios, they had the solid state technology, but only up to audio frequencies, and they couldn't get the RF and IF tubes in transistors. So they used tubes for the RF and IF, and then they used transistors for the audio.
Yeah, the output transistors were 2 and 301s, and the rectifiers were transistor also. So it's just an interesting little thing. Hey,
have you had the back off yet? Have you had it apart at all?
I don't have I didn't take the back off yet. And maybe next week I could show it, but it's different circuit boards in there. There's
I'm just still curious. There's still a part of me that says when you look inside of there, just don't be overly surprised if you see wires going to the hinges, to the hinge post.
Okay, I'll be glad to. I'll give a report next week and let you know exactly. But I didn't do that. But it's just interesting because it's really a hybrid, because you have circuit boards in this, and it's just I thought it was fascinating. But
no, it's good. That's pretty
Just a,
cool.
just a weird thing, and she was thrilled to have it go to a collector or someone like me, and she now I wish they did have some. They had a couple of Atwater Kent radios that the family kept, like that beautiful AK Cathedral, the eight. I think it's in model 82 or 84, and they had one of the metal boxes, like a Model 40, and the speakers that would have gone with those kind of radios, and all kinds of advertising stuff from the grandfather's company as a distributor. Their last name was Wildermuth, W
Well,
I L Wildermuth,
yep.
And this was, they must have made a lot of money because this was a very nice house with a direct view of the Long Island Sound.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was probably $3 million home, and that they were getting rid of. But
Wow.
Something you could afford, John, not me.
Well, you can get a $20 radio at least out of it.
Anyway, that's all I got really for today, guys.
Oh, that was great, John. That was awesome. Really liked the eclectic look of all the different toys you have, especially those little transmitters and so forth, vibrators. It's cool.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
well, thank you. Hey, I want to call out because you joined early. Lance, how you doing? I don't know whether you want to contribute anything, but I want to at least be able to call out to you. I know you see on mute and I don't see a video, but I want to get a chance to call out to you in case you wanted to say anything.
You're muted, Lance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can circle back later if Lance is unavailable or whatnot. So, Russ, how are you? You got a good-looking backdrop.
Thank you.
Keeping up with the
Yeah,
Joneses
fine.
over here.
Nothing going on really. I had a miser analyst on the bench, so really not sure what I'm going to do with it. Took it off to clear some space, and that's about it for me. Nothing really going on right now.
Oh, okay. I just want to have you check in and see what's going on. Hopefully, we'll see you at the show in March.
Absolutely. Got a table already. And,
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing it. Yeah. Awesome. Very good. Well, thank you, Russ.
You're welcome.
I'm going to say a quick hello out to Pear, who's joining us from Thailand still.
Still from Thailand. 2 days later, I'll be getting on the plane to come back home.
But I just want to say, there's dedication for you joining 12 hours. There's tomorrow. You're looking at tomorrow,
I woke
boys.
up late. That's why I didn't join right at the beginning.
That's okay. That's all right. Well, glad you managed to make it. But like I said, we're looking at tomorrow. Tomorrow's looking back at us. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right. We're looking at the future. But
yes, yeah.
Oh, very good. So all is good there?
All is good here. Yeah.
Do you ever find any old radios there?
No. The best I could do was have my picture taken next to a 61 Beetle.
Maybe it had a radio in it.
Yes, but it was not an original radio. But somebody had put air conditioning in it, which is a great thing around here.
I would say so, but
so I took a picture, had a picture taken showing the hood open to see the position of the compressor, because it's kind of hard to fit that kind of stuff under the hood of a Volkswagen Beetle.
That's what I would think. No less can imagine the power drain and turning it on with maybe what 40 horsepower.
Yeah,
well, it's 10 on a hot day.
Don't go up a hill, otherwise you may actually rolling back.
Was it actually driven off the engine?
Yes.
Okay, because what I'm beginning to see more and more now in like hot rods or some resto mods or things like that, rather than go through all the nonsense of finding the right brackets and pulleys and all that stuff. With all the EVs that have come out that have air conditioning, the compressors are electric. They're not driven.
Oh,
They're not
oh,
driven
I
off
see.
of the ICE engine. And so
Uh-huh.
you can take this electric compressor and like hide it in a fender well or put it in the trunk or wherever you want it and do your
Mm.
plumbing. And the engine of the car doesn't even have to be running to turn the AC on because it's an electric driven
Oh,
compressor.
wow.
You just need a
Oh,
huge
that's
honking
very
battery.
interesting.
Yeah.
Just a solution for a VW too. Limited space and limited horsepower.
That's
Well, there
right.
was
Well,
the
one
hot
might
rod I
never
was
get
looking
out of
at was
first
something
gear
like a
because one needs to
51.
provide cooling for the whole thing too.
Yeah, that's true. Oh
Yeah,
my.
this was something like I don't know what it was, maybe a 51 Hudson or something that, just it would have been a project to put aftermarket AC on under the hood and figure out the bracketry and how to mount the compressor with the engine and all that
Uh-huh.
stuff. So this guy just got one of those electric compressors that they use in Teslas or whatever other kind of all electric vehicles that, don't have a belt to drive anything off of the front of the motor. And he just had it tucked away down low on the inner fender in the engine bay. And it was like instant AC because he could turn it on
Oh,
before he even started the engine of the car. So
I should investigate that.
it was pretty interesting.
Hmm. Very interesting. Huh.
Now all I would have to do is to have a converter to convert my 6-volt system to 12-volt system to drive that compressor.
Right.
And tens of amps to drive it too. It takes a
Yeah,
lot of
well, again,
electricity.
being 2026 now, those electric compressors are pretty efficient.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
not like the big window AC unit that you would put in the house in the 1950s that weighed
Right.
300 pounds.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
like it would tip a beetle on its side if you put it in the window. Like like Flintstones. Yeah. That's funny. Well, cool, Pear. Thanks for
Well, what I'm
sorry.
going to, when I get home, since it's kind of cold out in Boston, I'm going to go and visit a Hudson Club member um, in Fort Collins, Colorado, and he has a heated building containing 17 cars,
Wow.
14 of which are Hudsons. So he and I are going to spend a week tinkering with his cars while I kind of that way I'll have a more gentle introduction to coming back to
Ah,
temperate climates.
well planned, it sounded like a fun vacation to me.
Well, I figure that way I can prolong my vacation for a week and avoid looking at all those tax forms and everything that have piled up in my house.
Oh yeah, inevitable.
N99.
Indeed.
Yes, that's right.
Well, well, thanks, Pear. I'm glad you were able to join, and wish you safe travels back to the U.S. Since we'll see you. The
Okay,
next
thank
meeting
you.
will be back in the U.S., I suppose.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks.
Okay.
Well, Paul, how you doing?
Hey, John, I'm doing good. Thank you. I noticed it looks like I'm from Maine also, like I think two other people here from Maine. So
Yeah,
it
Joe's
might
in
be
Maine.
that
We got two
Maine has
Joes
the,
and Carl.
the highest state representation tonight, which is a little weird.
Yeah, but hey, that's all right. Well, Carl was on. I was a little ago. Where did Carl go? Carl was here. Yeah, we had a good main turnout because Joe, Carl, and you. That's we've been we that's I think a record attendance from Maine on a Zoom meeting.
Yes, well, it's because we're all freezing cold and hiding in our houses and looking for something to do,
Yeah, that's
buried in snow. Lots of cool radio tech stuff being shown today. But if you remember me from last month, I don't know much about radios. So I thought I'd take a couple minutes and show off one of my many old computers that I got lying
yeah.
around here.
Go for it, man.
Let's see here. So I just got a few photos here. This is an Atari 800 XL.
Hmm.
So this is from 1983. They made these for a couple years, 83, 84.
Yeah.
Those.
And this is the newer version of the original Atari 800 that came out in 1979. So this one's a little smaller, a little more modern design. And this was one of the original setups I had here in my basement. And as we go through here, you'll see it kind of progress throughout the house. But you can see here, I've got a couple disk drives connected to it. I got a bunch of floppy disks. And some of the other photos will show things, but several parts of this are the original equipment from when I was a kid.
Wow. Cool.
And here's the same computer set up. This is now when it got moved upstairs into my office, where I am now, running a different game. It's always fun to test it with games, but same basic hookup, disks and stuff that were useful. And that's just a close-up of the computer so you can see, the weirdness of the keyboard, which if you look at some of the things above the numbers, they don't match any keyboard you're using today. So it's really awkward to kind of type on these things now. And that big thing, that opening in the middle, the silver thing, is where you can plug cartridges into this particular computer.
Right. You walk down memory lane here.
Yeah. This was an 8-bit computer, and this one actually had a whopping 64K of
Whoa.
memory. So pretty low tech, but for the time, pretty high tech. And you can see the inside here when I took it out to get it all cleaned up and make sure everything looked good. On the left-hand side, this is the 64K RAM. And then you get the main chips here. I believe this one is the CPU, the 6502 8-bit CPU.
Oh, wow. Know that well when I used to do assembler language back in the day.
Yeah. It's a popular chip to program in assembly language. Apparently, I never really did myself, but apparently it's somewhat simple compared to some other of the chips.
Yeah.
Somewhat unique to the Atari 8-bit computers of the era, these two chips here were actually the graphics chips. The Atari computers had the early versions of a graphics card essentially in them, whereas when this design came out in like 79, you had like the Apple II, which
Yep.
could have graphics, but it didn't have real graphics chips to speak of, really.
Yeah.
And this also has a couple chips here for I/O, serial connections and whatnot. And then up here in the corner, you've got your basic ROM, and your operating system is on that chip.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell this one's the 6502. You can see all the lines running off of it that go to this port in the back. This was like an expansion port.
Got
So
it.
you could plug stuff in there and have direct access to the CPU. So yeah, pretty compact design. And the cool thing about the computers from this era is they're repairable by humans. Because you can actually, work on this. I haven't personally yet. It's on my to-do list, but you can actually use a regular soldering iron on these things and replace things that break and whatnot. Because stuff hasn't at this point shrunken down so much that it's completely inaccessible.
Yeah. Wow.
This is the computer again set up. This would be behind me where I'm sitting now. I now have a different computer, but this one was set up here for a while. And has a little component here to the side that I'll zoom in on in a moment. But the disk drive is how you load most stuff. And I actually have original disks that can be loaded. But in the modern day, finding actual floppy disks is hard. And so this little gadget here is actually an SD card device where you can put images of floppy disks on an SD card, plug it into this, and this pretends as a disk drive. And it plugs into the same port as the disk drive. So kind of a modern thing connected to an old thing.
Makes sense.
And here you can see the same setup again with one of the programs I wrote back in the 80s, shown on the screen here.
Wow.
It's actually a game that I had made back then. And you can see the things lit up now because I probably loaded that game up off of that onto there. And then I have a lot of printouts of stuff from that era that I've been going through. I kept a binder, an old, like a notebook binder that I had in middle school that was like cardboard-ish. You know, the outside was cardboard.
Mhm.
And I had saved printouts of things that I had written and programmed back then. And some of them, that's the only copy I have of it. So I actually got to go through and type this in,
Oh man.
which is pretty tedious. I will sometimes just do that using an emulator on a computer like my Mac because the keyboard is so much better. But
Yeah. That's really interesting because it looks like yeah, it's somewhat proprietary to the language because it looks quasi basic, but it's
this is
more than
definitely
that.
basic. This is completely basic. It's the basic that's built into the computer that this is written in.
Really?
At
Yeah.
least you're not using an 029 key punch.
Mm.
At least, yeah, that predates me a bit, but that would be even worse. Yes. Yeah, there's definitely the basic. The basic that came with the computer had some specific commands built in that other
Yeah.
basics didn't tend to have, so like, you know, the position statement
Exactly.
here to
That's what
put the
struck me.
cursor in
Yeah.
a location, the
Yeah.
graphic statements to change what you're seeing on the screen, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can tell it must be Cartesian coordinates, roughly speaking.
Yeah, I forget. I think it did start at 00 in the upper left corner. Uh, And this is a program. I didn't write this program. I kind of stole it from a magazine, but it's written in BASIC and it draws this. They call it an Archimedes spiral, but it looks like a fedora.
Yeah,
Um,
doesn't it? Yeah.
but it takes about 20 minutes for this computer to draw this.
I don't doubt it.
But it's a fun little test. When I get an old computer that has BASIC, I can port it over to that pretty easily to test out the computer.
Hmm.
The only requirement is that the language I do it in has to have some sort of floating point instructions to do
Ah,
decimal mathematics. And surprisingly, some, you know, programming languages or even basics for computers from that time are only integer based.
yeah.
So they wouldn't really be able to run this without a lot of translation. But yeah, this sort of thing takes 20 minutes for this computer to run. But like a version I converted this over to like Python on a modern computer, it runs in about zero point zero 0.01 seconds.
Hmm.
It just pops up instantly.
That's
And
cool.
this is a photo I had of just one of my favorite games. This was called Micro League Baseball. I'm a big baseball nut. And this was essentially a baseball simulator. And so you can see here, this is simulating, I think it was some sort of super all-star team. So it's got Babe Ruth batting, Brooks Robinson's on deck. That might be Doyle Alexander. And
Who's who's
you
pitching?
could, I think it's maybe Doyle Alexander.
Oh, I remember. I
Maybe.
remember him.
There
Yeah,
you
I think he
go.
was an 80s guy.
Yeah, he ends up with the Yankees for a bit, and it was a disaster. But sorry, I digress.
It's
Yeah,
all
it
right. I'm
might
a
have been
Mets
with the
fan.
Tigers, if I remember.
Yeah, I think you're right. He came in as a free agent. Or
Yeah, this game, you didn't actually play the game of baseball because it was kind of a strategy game. You were like the manager and you gave it tips for who was playing and the type of pitching you'd want it to do. And then it would play out the scenarios and stuff. I spent a lot of time as a kid playing that game.
that's cool.
And that's a collection of the variety of cartridges I have for this particular Atari computer. As you might guess, have several Atari computers, but this is some of the cartridges and games I have for them. And another close up with some of the original instruction books that came with it that I was able to find over the years to kind of make it look like a set, so to speak.
Wow, love
And
it.
then floppy disks. Oh my God, I have so many floppy disks. And this is my small collection of floppy disks. The smaller 3.5 inch ones, I probably have 10 times this amount.
Wow.
But some of these discs you can see here with the labels that look like this with the red writing on them
Hmm.
these are actually original discs from the 80s that were
Oh,
mine when I was a
wow,
kid.
that's
And
cool.
and a surprising number of them, I would say over 90% still work, which is even more surprising to me, considering it's not like these were carefully stored or anything
Yeah,
like that.
so they're pretty reliable media.
Yep. And well, that's it. I just wanted to share that particular look at one of my many old computers that I keep around here, but I'm more of an Atari nut, so I have a lot of Atari related gear and things that I collect and set up and make sure still works, that sort of stuff.
Oh, it was cool. I really like it, Paul. You have some cool stuff. It brings back memories as a teenager, all the, going to the various electronic stores, and also some of my friends had various things, not exactly that, but playing with their stuff. So I enjoyed that. That was good. You know, I'll give a brief rant about Doyle Alexander, by the way, only because when he went to the Yankees, I forget, this is probably, I think it was the early 80s or something, early mid 80s. He had a bad outing. He got lit up like a Roman candle by, I forgot what team it was. But I was watching the game and he goes into the dike. He gets pulled by, I think it was Billy Martin at the time, gets pulled, to replace him with the reliever. And he was really mad about the whole thing. And the the guy punches the wall inside the clubhouse, breaks his hand, and so he was out for the rest of the season or something like that. It's just like they spent all this money for him. Like the Yankees weren't very good at that. When I remember when he pitched, when they weren't a very good team anyway, it was going to make a huge difference, in the outcome. But it was just like, yeah, there we go. Real smart thing to do. Punch a hard surface with your pitching hand, and that was that. But anyway, rant off. He was better, I guess, with everybody else but the Yankees. So, at any rate, but thank you, Paul. That was fun.
Hmm.
Um,
John,
yeah,
who was it asked me about the hinges on my?
that was Noah.
No, Noah, can I show him I, it drove me nuts when he said something. So I went down, took a photo. Can I
Okay.
show the photo real quickly?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
All right. All right. Let me just figure how to do this again. Share. Um, mm, 1 second.
No problem.
It's warming up, I think.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wait. Oh, there. Okay. It should. All right. This is a picture of the back, of the whole back. Now,
Mhm.
I even took a photo of the sides to see. I did not see much in the way of wires going to either side, but they could be hidden because there looks like to be some particle board there. So I do have to really like take the thing apart to
Hmm.
see if they're hidden wires. But it's just anyway. The answer is still unknown, but I do want to check that out.
Yeah, well, the SAMs that you held up, there was like a 3000A and a 3000B or a 300A and a 3. So
Yeah.
if they're, the B model might have had the speakers going through the hinges and maybe the A model didn't or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
You could
I
check
keep
the schematic.
I keep thinking about this huge electrolytic here, and it's only like a 300 volt one. I don't know why that's there, but it looks like it took up a lot of space. Anyway, that's it. I'll just
All right.
shut this down for now.
Okay.
I'll
Cool.
give you a report next week.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hey, Brian, how's it going out there in Connecticut?
Things are good in Connecticut. We got a lot of snow, but it's good.
Oh,
Yeah, it's cool. I was Paul. I don't know. I just here. Let me grab this. I don't know if you've ever seen this. So sorry, I'm like a nerdy academic who works in media studies and stuff.
yeah,
Paul,
sure.
do you know about this book? This is like I don't know if you can see it. This
Oh
is
yeah, the ten print
yeah.
book that has
Have you ever
different.
you know this
I've
book?
I've seen that book. I don't have that book, but I have
It,
seen it.
it's kind of great for like these scholars thinking about like a lot of these kind of early computing issues. There's a lot of Commodore 64 stuff they were thinking about, but
Yeah.
it's I found it really interesting when I read it.
Yeah,
Recommend
I
it.
probably haven't picked that one up because it is very Commodore 64 focused, but
Yeah.
I do have a Commodore here, so I may get it at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting. It's like a lot of my colleagues who work on that stuff, it's like the software studies they call it now, like but it's cool. I don't, I just I've been doing what have I been doing? I've been doing a lot of transferring of audio lately.
Hmm.
Kind of interested in home recording. Maybe at some point I've done a bunch of wire recorders,
Okay.
you know, and so I have a lot of wires. I've been transferring those over because I'm doing some projects on home recording and I have my reel to reel. I have an old Ampex reel to reel
Hmm.
machine
Okay.
and I just ended up somebody just gave me a bunch of tapes that I've been going through. It turns out that it's a lot of radio stuff from what's the Connecticut radio station? From Kiss FM in Connecticut, but from the 1970s when they were like a easy listening, middle of the road station. So there's a lot of advertisements, Sears advertisements, and DJs, doing, like you can do unedited tapes of them doing advertising, and then some and then a lot of just music. So I've been going through that, but I figured that if I was going to show something, I mean, I'm going to show something solid state, so don't
Yeah.
hold the big against me.
No.
Um,
Hey, we got plenty of solid state in this club.
yeah, I mean, I love the tubes, but I just grabbed this. I thought this is kind of a novelty thing, but I thought that I don't know if people have seen this before. The Panasonic Radar-Matic.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
That is a
No.
cool set.
Tell
This
us
is
about this.
It's
this is
got
a
the
fun,
winder in the back, right, for the tuning?
exactly. All right. So
Yes.
this is yeah. So this is I do a lot of transistor. I just fix up a lot of transistor arrays. I got a whole
Uh-huh.
box here of stuff that I've just like they're easy. They're like doing crossword puzzles, right?
Ha!
They're quick. So all right. So this thing, it has a kind of like seek function on it, right? So if you turn it on, well, you get it go. So it has a little winder in the back, and it has there's a so it's a spring driven mechanism, and if you turn it on, and you hit this button on top,
Okay.
the dial will turn and look for the next station. I don't know
Ah,
if
signal seeking.
right.
Cool.
So
On a
it's signal
winder.
seeking. Right.
My dad had that exact radio. I think that's the first radio I've ever used in my life, probably when I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen one until now.
No, I've never seen it either.
They're
Yeah.
rare.
I love it.
It's great. I mean, it was fun to work on. I mean, so the relay, that turns off, like once you hit the button and it starts spinning, the relay is driven by the automatic gain control, right,
Yes.
circuit. So it's just looking for whatever the strong
Yeah,
signal through that.
audio signal, basically.
Yeah, and it has the kind of interesting thing where because it needs to be able to dial needs to be able to spin on its own. There's a tuning dial over here or a knob for it, but in order to get it to connect, you have to actually push it in to
Ah,
manually
you can
tune it.
override it.
So then, so otherwise, it's on its own. It's got the winder in the back, and it's a pretty good radio. It has a kind of a local. It has a local and a DX setting. I can't remember if it has a RF stage in it or not. It's been a while since I worked on it, so I can't remember all the internals on it. But it's a nice little. It's a cool little radio to have.
That's great.
I come across a lot of transistor radios just so I work on so many of them. So I try to most of them I just I sell, and but if there's weird ones or interesting ones, I always try to hold on to them.
Well, that certainly seems like hold on worthy, something like that, because that's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of, when I think about it, this started in the mid 50s. Of course, you have the Germans, the Saba, with the auto tuning that was electronic, and you can imagine that was a complex and somewhat finicky, mechanism. Yeah, and I look at this simple winder Japanese approach, and it's hilarious because I look at the complexity and this they just narrowed it down. Well, look at that. What is that? A Grundig? Looks like a Grundig.
Yep. It's a
Yeah.
Grundig. It's
Oh,
a mini World 100 PE.
Oh wow.
yeah,
How's
yeah.
it work? How's it work? Does it
Yeah, it works great.
oh, good.
Multi-band radio. It's a
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I always got a kind of I mean, like I don't know, I'm always working on I don't know, I'm just yanking out of the box. I just did this little Panasonic like last, I don't know, day or two
yeah,
ago.
let me get
Yeah,
it. Let me spotlight that in so we can see it. Everybody can see it better. There we go. Oh yeah.
I mean, these are great.
Yeah, no, you know what? They're reliable and they work and they probably they essentially last forever. I mean,
Yeah. So
my,
I
my,
got a whole
I
ton
mean,
of
my
them.
mother from the 70s always had a Panasonic little radio in the kitchen, and I remember like a kid, I get home from school, and I usually did my homework on the dining room table before dinner, and she'd be playing that little AM radio. It was typically top 40 songs at that point usually, and some news
Yeah.
interleaved in there, and that was sort of basic. But those things just ran forever. They're just reliable and good reception too.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Oh, that's cool. I really like
Yeah.
that. I laugh at that how the simplification that the Japanese did on a really ornate mechanism in the 50s and 60s the Germans had, which they had a lot of bragging rights, but
Yeah.
still, probably, a nightmare to work on. I had a Saba 300, which, I actually it's since moved on, but it was very finicky, the auto
Yeah.
tuning on that.
There's also, I mean, one kind of weird thing about it too is because the way the way the dial works, right? you'll see that it like I'll put it up here like the way it spins, right? It has to be able to spin all the way around. So you see like it has like for instance on the AM there are 54 and 54 right next to each
Yeah.
other on either side, right? So as it reaches one side, so it's kind of doubled, right?
Oh, how interesting.
Mhm.
I love that. Radarmatic.
Radarmatic.
That
There you go.
is quite a, and that's so, what that must be like late 60s. Is that right?
It might be mid or early. I can't remember exactly. I'd
I
have
Yeah.
think
to.
that's like 68,
Yeah, that
Oh,
feels like
okay.
I
it's
think.
that's a wonderful condition. That's
Yeah,
a, yeah, I mean,
it's great. I was lucky to come across. I can't remember how I came across it.
yeah, that's cool though. I love it when we see something that we just never see very often. I'm not sure when the next time I'll see one. But cool.
Yeah,
Well, thank you, Brian.
no problem. Thanks.
That was great. Let's see here. Noah. So I know you
I
had
just
your,
I just realized this little guy is stereo too. It's got a little
oh
light that
yeah,
comes on
sure.
when you get a
That's
stereo station.
I seem to call us from the 80s, if memory serves, that radio. I could be wrong, but that's what my memory is. I even think I bought one for my mother because she really I wanted to get her like she wanted a small radio, but I wanted to get it feature packed. And I thought, well, okay, what better way for me is to get her a nice Grundig from the 80s when they were still, good quality. 80s or 90s, got her something that she would enjoy. And I think it was something like that. They're pretty good too.
It looks like it's about like a 7 or 8 band radio too. It's crazy.
I know they stuff a lot in there. I mean, I don't know how its sensitivity on like the let's say non-standard broadcast or FM bands are, but hey,
Yeah.
I think they're pretty neat. So what else has gone on with you?
Well, let's see. I'm kind of all over the map. I could probably use some help from Paul just to try to like. It looks like his Ataris do more than my Lenovo Windows 10 piece of crap that I'm trying to work with here. But I'm sure it's operator error. But let's see. Well, among other things, well, first of all, put this down.
Cheers.
Oh,
Look
Got
at
my cheers.
that.
So
Very
this
nice.
this is our last Zoom before the Super Bowl. So that was as close as I could come to a New
Oh,
England Patriots type of thing. I got a Cheers Boston sweatshirt on. So
there you
go
go.
Pats, or never didn't really think I'd ever see them get back to the Super Bowl after that whole Brady Belichick era finally died. But anyway,
Well,
so that's that. The other thing is I've been playing around, maybe going a little far afield, but let me see if I can turn this a little bit. I've been trying to play around with not just the old radios that I have, but a number of the old radios that might have the facility to add some cute little antique mono record player, record changer type things. So I've been playing with those. So this is a little Voice of Music record player,
Okay.
mono output,
Hmm.
kind of a classic look with this gold tone arm here. It's got the little flip over cartridge from LPs to 78s, with the different stylus size. And this is one of them. I've got probably half a dozen of these funky old weird record changers that I'm been playing with to see if I could add them to existing radios rather than go get more radios. I've got these turntables, and they can be pretty frustrating to work on, but they can also keep you busy. The other thing that I've been doing, because I'm sort of a Luddite and anti-computer guy, let me see if I can share something here. I don't even know. I've been trying to, let's see if I'm going to go to the right place. Let me get something to wake up here. Will it wake up? We talked one time at one of our previous meetings about potentially trying to do something where we talk about what was your first radio, or what's your oldest radio, or
Oh,
what
yeah.
was your favorite radio.
Hmm.
So rather than running around my house all the time, is this thing sharing?
Not yet. We do see your Windows Explorer, your File Explorer. I see your
Okay, maybe I'm trying to share the wrong thing then, because
well,
I've opened up.
I see the toilet bowl swirl icon, as I call it, when it's trying to do something.
Well, maybe it's just catching up then on the Zoom thing, because I've got the picture on my screen.
Yeah, it may be just a little bit delayed or something, or are you seeing any smoke pouring out on the side of your computer, wheezing, stressing out?
No,
I just wait. I found that some of my older Windows thing, the graphics when it was supporting running with the Zoom really taxed the horsepower
let me
quickly.
try it this way.
There we go.
Hey, there we are.
Okay, so this is my Nana, my grandmother's Stromberg Carlson.
Mm.
And this was a radio that basically my mom grew up listening to, and then I grew up listening to, and my younger sister grew up. This was the one that was in the living room that you would turn on to see whether or not school was canceled on a snow day.
When
When
they
we were in
announced them.
elementary school, we'd be listening to WICC from 660 or 600 from Bridgeport, Connecticut. And this cabinet was basically black. It was just nondescript. Like, I don't know what they were thinking. That's the way it always was. And when when it came up to our house, my dad just said, well, this is ugly and there's nothing to lose here. So he just like took out the belt sander, or, some whatever kind of tools he had, and he started stripping it down. And there was beautiful hardwood that was underneath it with really cool grains and everything in it.
Yeah.
And so once the cabinet started looking so good, then I was just a kid at the time, but I took on the electrical portion of it to try to get it's got the old FM band with the channels on it,
Oh, yeah.
201 through 299 or whatever, but you can get some FM. And most of the time we were listening to AM, and sometimes I'd put a long wire on that and try to look at shortwave. So anyhow, I started trying to compile. I have oddball things. So is this updating?
Yes.
Okay. So I started taking pictures of some of the weird oddball things. So this is, of course, this is a Scott.
Yep. Sure.
That
I
I have.
guess they would have to be. Oh, yeah. There you go.
All that chrome and everything.
Yeah.
What beautiful sound. Just amazing sound out of that thing. But
It's cool
it's
looking.
obviously not in its original cabinet, but
Right.
it was inexpensive that way. This was a bizarre record player thing where these speakers do get their sound through the hinges, and
Oh.
the whole thing becomes like a rectangular box, but like the speakers are triangular and this weird lid that pops up. So when you fold the speakers down and fold the top down, it just looks like a box. It almost
Yeah.
looks like a tube caddy, but it
Yeah.
opens up into all these weird shapes. So it's an oddball thing, and I like oddball things.
Yeah. It's for portability. It's cool.
There's a collection of oddballness, right? This is one of my triple thrills. So this is an Admiral AM/FM radio television set and record changer for 78s, but it has a second lightweight tone arm in the back for LPs. And then there's a weird looking Arvin over there, and the little RCA record player over there. And so I started trying to figure out, rather than running around the house like I have in the past with my phone saying, and that's what this is, and that's what that is. I started trying to dig up from all over the place inside my computer various pictures of things, and then see if I could put them all in the same file and in the same place, so that when we do someday have let's all discuss our oldest radio or our funkiest radio.
Yeah, we can.
Speaking of Connecticut, there's a pair of my Bozaks that are
yeah.
and another Grundig that's being worked on over there. That's a GE 802 television AM/FM radio record player. This is what started all this madness. This Grundig monstrosity was on the ground in Amherst, New Hampshire, at an automotive swap meet. with wires hanging out the back, and it was just in terrible condition. It was on the $5 blanket. And it's like, I remember hearing that these German radios are supposed to sound really good. And for $5, how could I go wrong? Well, I didn't have all this other crap in my house until after I fixed that radio and said, wow, old radios are pretty cool, besides the Stromberg Carlson.
So it's really the most expensive $5 you ever did.
Exactly. I can't remember off the top of my head what this is. I got to do more research so that when we do the round robin thing, I can be more intelligent. But this is one of those curtain burner, really small radios. It's got the,
yeah.
Ah, yes.
Looks sort of like an Arvin.
I just I
Yeah,
can't
what if it
remember.
is?
You know, and there's like, I call that a grandmother clock radio because it's not as big as the grandfather clock radio that I also have. You know,
Noah, you showed that, is it a GE 801? Was that TV you showed?
802.
802, because I have either that or the 801 in my basement. They were
Oh,
slightly
okay.
different.
Yeah.
And all I know is I had to buy a friend of mine lunch to bribe him to help me carry it down
Yeah,
to the basement.
definitely.
And it has a huge chassis because that
Yes.
radio is also on it. And
Right.
I remember having the whole thing working on my workbench. They moved it into the cabinet. It wouldn't work because the chassis was so big it would twist a little bit,
Yep.
and it must have must have been a cold solder joint, but I got it working finally.
Yeah.
But it weighed a ton.
Yeah, definitely. But it doesn't weigh anywhere near as much as this Grimsby Grenault majestic monstrosity that's over here. And there's a little Pilot. I think it's a Pilot FM.
Yeah, looks like it.
tuner.
Is that a Pilot or is that a Meisner?
Well, oh, that's right. Yeah, well, it's one or the other. You're right. I think that one's the Meisner. I've got some Pilot. Yeah, the Pilots are smaller. That's a Meisner.
Right.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
The reason I say that, Noah, is because a friend of mine gave me the chassis for a Meisner 8C, and I
Yeah.
built a wooden box for it. I was going to show that next time, but I can do it real quick now. But I don't want to
Sure.
steal your thunder. You're on a roll.
Well, that's okay. Well, I'm only going to do a few of these things. This is kind of a blurry one.
Let me go grab it real quick. I'm still in earshot.
This is a Zenith with the what's that funny toner? A Cobra, the Cobra.
Oh,
Edge,
yeah.
Cobra turn arm.
You know, so that's a nice radio. But again, I have the odd stuff. This is a downward shot of my Cape Heart flip.
Oh,
over
yeah, that's
finger.
really cool.
That's really cool. You know, it's like I like stuff that's different. This is one of the Predictas I was working
Oh,
on.
yeah.
You know, so took a picture of that while it was lit up. That's my oldest record player, probably for me. So that's me next to my Junior Juke. That was my
Wow.
first jukebox record player that I had. This is a gigantic RCA console that has all the speakers in the upper half and the electronics are down in the bottom so that like you don't have all the sound blasting into your kneecaps like a lot of consoles do.
Wow.
And
It's a big boy. Oh,
yeah, they're all kind of big boys. A
another
little bit of
Grundig.
staining on this one, but it was relatively cheap. There's a Blaupunkt.
Yep, sure, recognize that. That's I think
Phillips.
Sultan's. That it may be a Gretz, I wonder. Is that a Gretz or is that a no, hold on. It's a Vega. You don't see
Yes.
those very often. You don't see those very often at all.
A lot of German words and stuff on it everywhere.
Yeah, that's a Vega. Plus has I kind of like the Cyclops style tuning eye dead center. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
That's a closer look at the 802 with the turntable drawer open.
Yeah, it's again that weighed a ton. I'm
Yeah.
not my accountant to
No, well,
carry.
when you word to the wise, when you're trying to move them, you take all the electronics, chassis, and all that stuff out, and then you're just carrying the empty cabinet. It's not quite so bad.
We slid it down the basement stairs because it had carpet on it. The basement
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
This is a Sylvania Halo television set where you're not supposed to watch TV. You have to have those TV lamps somewhere in the room because it's not good for your eyes. And so Sylvania said, well, we'll just kind of put a glow around the picture. And the funny thing about this shot, or the interesting thing, while I was working on this, I had it hooked up to the cable box and I had like Turner Classic Movies or something on. And this is a movie with Frank Sinatra as an assassin who's going to try to shoot the president, and the hero in this movie is the TV repairman. I won't give any other spoiler alerts or anything, but yeah, you got to look it up. It's a great movie, and it's even better if you can watch it on an old TV set that you just fixed. You know, that works.
That's pretty cool.
And that's a different version of that. This is the princess. This is the small. This is the bedroom one, which actually has a clock in it, so you can use it like a clock radio, except it's a clock television. So it'll turn off or turn on based on how you set the alarm on the clock. And it's a smaller version of a Philco predictor.
Interesting.
And this was totally cheating. I had this old TV set. I don't even remember what it was, but the neighbor across the street had some 1980s black plastic color television set that they didn't want anymore. So I took it and I gutted it and I street rotted the nice wooden cabinet. So this is like a nice old early 60s television set, and what it would have looked like if it had color back in the day, because it's just got color TV guts inside of it. And this is an RCA orthophonic.
Oh, sure.
And the orthophonic console's good set, nice sound. That's another view of the RCA monstrosity. You can see the two woofers and the tweeters in there. And the Snowbird snowblower I don't need anymore. And this is, you want to talk about weight. So this is an RCA rear projection television set that was from the late 40s. It's got a sticker on the back that says it's 1,500 watts. It needs its own 15 amp circuit.
And that happens to be also its weights in pounds.
Yes, it's got like 5 massive chassis that go to it. It's crazy. It was just nuts. And a 5-inch CRT. Oh, by the way, yes, and a request, since we saw other tubes earlier. If anyone finds a 7JP4, it's a 7-inch CRT, electrostatic control, and P4 just means it's the phosphor. A P1 would mean it was green, like for an oscilloscope. P4 is for a television set. I need a 7JP4 for one of my televisions, and they seem to be no longer available. And this, well, I don't know if it's the oldest radio I have, but I've had it probably kind of the longest. This is an RCA Radiola 66 that came out of the basement of one of my high school friends because it was his grandmother's radio. So I got this, in the 60s from a high school buddy. And, fixed it up and had it working. It never really looked all that great, and the veneer was bad, and not knowing how to do anything like this. The woman who is now my wife is a bit of an artist, so she did this faux lapis lazuli type painting on the flat surfaces.
One of a kind.
So it looks like that now, and it's pretty cool and it's pretty funky. And it's like, again, it was high school days, so and there was no internet or anything like that. So probably for about 5 years, this thing was running. Didn't know where to look for a Type 80 rectifier tube, which of course, as we all know, is a 4-pin tube. So for about 4 or 5 years, I was running this thing with a 5U4 rectifier tube just laying on its side with 4 little wires going into the 4 holes, going to the appropriate 4 pins on the 5U4. But it worked, and thankfully didn't harm the transformer. So, and then that's just about.
Oh wait, that back, the one back picture there, Noah, just back one. So was that poster your inspiration for getting into vintage electronics?
That's a picture of my wife at St. John's.
Very good. Look at that. See,
it's hanging in the garage now. It's like my pinup picture in my garage, because you got to have pinup pictures in your garage.
Noah, for your Model 802 TV, do you have the original booklet?
I do. I've got a bunch of the books and things that came with it. Yep.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yep.
Just thought I'd ask.
Yep. And this is your typical bizarre looking brass legged television set with eyeballs that, for tuning dial and on, off, and volume. If it's old and weird looking, and it's Happy Valentine's Day. That's
Come to Noah.
to.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm not going to show the cat again. I sent the
Oh,
cat
yeah.
to Bob. So if I can get obviously there's a bunch of other radios and weird stuff to take pictures of and jukeboxes and things, but I'm trying to figure out how do I get them all in the same place so that I could do something like, a little slideshow when we get to that.
That'd be great.
And then do the same thing with, I'm hoping to do file of pictures for our off-topic one, trying to find pictures of all the old cars that I've owned. So I could just scroll through all the.
That would be great. That would be awesome. But cool. Well, that was awesome, Noah. I know, Andy, I know when you grabbed your or
if somebody hasn't gone yet, they should probably go first, but I can show this real quick.
I think you're the last. Oh no, there'll be Bob. That's right. That's the last
Okay,
person.
so if you can zoom in on me,
got it.
You move around. Okay, so somebody gave me this Meisner 8 Charlie FM receiver from late 40s, and all they gave me was the chassis. There was no box of any sort, and I fixed it up and got it to work, and it was meant to go into a component stereo system, if I understand correctly. So I plugged it into one, and it works just fine. But you'll notice the box looks very similar. It's a little darker stain, a little more red, but it's very similar. But you'll notice one thing, that corner is definitely not similar. Right. I made this cabinet on a laser cutter at the Makerspace in Nashua.
I was going to say it looks better than the original box that it came in.
Well,
mine
I
looks pretty boring.
I didn't know how to steam and bend wood, and I didn't have a jig or any of that for making the corner. So the laser has this concept called a living hinge, and the software generated that pattern, and you can bend it. And I tell my non-radio friends that it was for airflow, which of course is silly because it's wide open in the back anyway. But it sounds good, right?
Yeah.
And when I plug this in, it does sound good. I've got a 1970s Roberts receiver that I plug it into just because it's what I've got, and it works great. So when I saw that picture, Noah, of this, it reminded me. So thanks for letting me have a couple of minutes to share this.
Oh yeah, that's great, excellent.
Oh, I like it.
I've got a number of those FM only tuners because I some of the older radios, they don't have an FM band, but some of them do have a phono position, and so you can just run those right into the phono position. And at least you can get more program material over the air.
Yeah. The one thing that I learned something new from this radio, and it has, 88 to 108, it says megacycles on it. But on top, it has channels 200 through 300.
Right.
And I didn't realize that there's a standard. It's a standard that's still in place, but I don't know that anybody follows it, where channel 200 lines up with some frequency and so forth.
Yeah. It's the old FM band.
Yeah.
That's on my Stromberg Carlson.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's 88 to 108, which is modern, is still in effect today. But I didn't realize they might refer to FM station 225 or some such thing.
Yep.
So I learned something new from this, and they put it right on the same dial, so they line up. And it's like, oh, okay, learned something new.
That's cool.
Which is all part of the fun.
Yeah.
Well, that was cool. Thank you, Andy. That was. I like the cabinet design, the custom cabinet. In fact, I was thinking if you even had, you could even make even those open air side things, almost like gold trim or something. Like the brass trim, like the old one. That would be pretty cool. Add a little bling.
That design is very similar in brass to what's on the back side of my Philco Predicta pedestal model.
Okay.
And it is for airflow in a Predicta because they were so poorly designed that they would overheat like a bear.
Oh yeah. Okay. You don't need to turn your heater on for those. Just turn on your TV. Yeah, exactly.
All right, now I know Bob's going to show us now exactly where I have to look in my schematic of my chair side to make it sound better.
There you go. In fact, on to Bob.
I replied to your email.
I saw it.
I'm sorry I was kind of late to the party for that. Some things have been crazy around here. I see our Wisconsin contingent is not here tonight.
Yeah.
I was hoping that Mr. Greg was going to be here because I got something that's really odd and weird. So I'm going to hold off on that.
Okay.
But since Andy's here, and he mentioned that he just did an H500. Andy, those are my favorite radios. I grew up listening to my late uncle's one they bought in Korea. And I listened to that and DX on that for hours as a kid. But I do have a lot of transoceanics. So let me show you the one I just finished. It's kind of one that's probably not too popular, and I'll explain why. Get this up here. There. Let me bring this down a little bit so you can see a little bit better.
That's only 18 pounds, you know.
Why does this thing keep focusing?
You're bigger than life, Bob.
I know, but this thing is just, I don't know why it's doing that.
Huh. That's funny.
See. Okay, maybe that'll be better now. All right, I'm just going to kind of sit back here.
There you go.
I'll hold this up.
Yep.
This is my latest completion. This is a HE005.
Okay.
There it goes again. All right, let me just open it up.
It's zooming in on your voice.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is. Wow. You
Sweet.
did. Look at the condition on that.
Now this was, well, I restored it.
Wow, you did a great
I
job.
restored it.
Would you use Novus on this, or was this the cabinet as is?
The black plastic bezel, I used Novus, and then the weight
Yeah.
magnet on top, which has the Phantom Z on it. I used Novus on that.
Yeah. Wow. Came out great.
This is heavy.
Cool.
Yeah, I know, really.
I'm getting old. I can't hold this thing up like I used to. I'll just hold it like this.
Yep.
The brass pieces, and there's a little bit of brass trim around this handle, which the camera really isn't getting at too well. I stripped it, polished it, and relacquered it. I have a bunch of these knobs. These knobs are actually correct, and the faceplate and the bezel is actually correct for these models. There was a HG005 YT, and then there was a YTZ. And the G500, which was the first miniature tube TO, like your H500, used those tubes, but they all looked the kind of same. The weight magnet was a little different on the G500. But the thing is, you don't see these around that are nice.
Yeah.
So this one looks nice because I did it. But here, and then here's the other thing that's a little bit weird. This door opens up.
Okay.
Oh.
Can't hold it up any longer, but in here is the original Zenith.
Oh.
Flip that over.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
This had the stations here. I'll just pull it out so you can see it a little bit better.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Cool.
So this is like a little book. The G500 don't flip out like this, though.
Right.
So
nice.
This radio has all Lochtel tubes in it.
Ooh.
Okay, so the Pentagrid converter that's in your H500 had a 1L6.
Yes.
Well, this has the predecessor in Lochtel form, which was a 1LA6.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And there's a lot of weird things about this radio. For example, it has push-pull audio.
Okay.
Which may sound fantastic, but they're 2 1-volt tubes of push-pull. I think the output is either 150 or 200 milliamps. So it's kind of like, it's like putting a Hayabusa Suzuki motorcycle engine in a Cadillac Coupe de Ville. It's not going to do anything. It's just that kind of thing.
Half a liter
V8. The thing that's really weird, and this radio actually has pretty good bones, and I'll explain. A lot of these all of them use rubber wiring. Actually, the rubber wiring here was actually pretty good. I did one of these like 12, 13 years ago for somebody, and I had to rewire it. I had to I was taking some of the wires off, and I was putting shrink tubing over it.
Yep.
Just to cover all the wires. The rubber wires in here are still good.
Cool.
So this took me about 3 weeks to do, stem to stern.
Wow. Yeah, that looks beautiful.
Yeah, you did a great job.
I don't think I could do that in 3 years.
So I've been listening to this on a regular basis now for past 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, I cleaned up the outside of mine and everything, but I have no knowledge of how to do the kind of stuff that you just demonstrated.
The easiest thing to do is for the Stag cabinet. What Zenith used to recommend years ago, like a lot of these went to servicemen, so they used to have this little pamphlet they give with the servicemen, which it's rare as hen's teeth. I've only seen one ever, and I couldn't buy it from the guy. Shoe polish. No, you
Oh.
get a good like kiwi shoe polish and just
Yeah.
buff the snot out of the stag, and just buff it, and then take like a Kim towel or some soft towel and buff it out,
Yep.
and that's how you get it to look like that.
Okay, good to know.
Does it now? You did that after the Novus, Bob? On the
Yeah, I
cabinet?
used to notice on all of just on the plastic parts, like the bezel, the dial
Yeah.
bezel, and all that
And then the shoe polish on
on the outside of the cabinet.
got it.
And then I do everything though. I do like the inside of the back where it's stag covered and all that. So it's a lot. It's a labor of love. You gotta love to do it. Yeah, it's just the thing. It's time consuming.
Yeah,
But the end
results
result looks great.
Yeah, the results are telling.
Well,
And,
one of the
I've done a lot of these radios.
Yeah. One of the transoceanics that was given to me, my ham radio Elmer had it, and it had the cardboard enclosure for the batteries.
Yes.
The batteries were all leaking. So he didn't take any photographs. He tossed the batteries, but he saved the cardboard and he saved the original 4-pin connector. When he gave it to me, I went to the makerspace and I built a wooden box with a slide lid that goes inside the cardboard, wired up the 4-pin connector with 10 9-volt batteries and some C cells to get 90 volts and 9 volts, and plugged it in, and it's working great. The second radio had no batteries, no enclosure, no nothing. I may still build the wooden battery box for it, but I don't have the 4-pin battery connector. I could make something up, but I don't have the original one.
Yeah, I made a battery box probably 22 years ago, 23 years ago, and just a cardboard box. And I used 6 Ds for the A's.
Yep.
And 60 double A's to get 90 volts for the B.
Okay, now I've heard of people doing that. Why do they do that versus using 10 9-volt batteries? Is there higher capacity in the double A's?
The B drain is a lot quicker than the A, believe it or not.
Okay.
It's drawing more current. Believe it or not, miniature tubes, you're not really, I forget what the current draw is, but it's minuscule compared to, running the double A's. And it's just, the other thing is it's a size issue to make it all in one package. I had an uncle that was very influential to me when I was a young lad. And he actually worked for RCA for a number of years. He went to RCA school. He worked in the Navy and he did a lot of electronics in the Navy, but he was also a gearhead. So he got me into taking cars all the way apart, putting them back together and making them go fast and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I never got over it, but he helped work with me, and I made a switcher pack for these. I don't know if it's probably downstairs somewhere in my stuff. And when I got together, it worked, but it had the switcher noise.
Right.
It wasn't horrible. But it was there.
Yep.
And I probably haven't used it in, I don't know, 10 years.
Yep.
Because they're just noisy.
Right.
So I just go with the old analog way. Of course, it makes the radio a ton when you throw that battery pack in there. But I've actually taken that to car shows and had playing. Like I'll take a later one that has a phonograph input in the back, and I'll slap in my iPod and just start playing, doo-wop music or something in there, and people stop and look at that thing and, oh yeah, Michael George had one of these, that kind of. Then you get all the stories coming out,
Oh yeah.
And that's always a lot of fun. So, enjoy your radios. By the way, there were. I'll tell you a couple things about H500s real quick because I know you guys are yawning and it's late. They made them for 3 years. They made them from 51 to 53, but there were 4 different production runs. Okay.
Yeah.
The early runs, the first run had the 2-pin headphone jack in the back of the chassis. Okay. So if you have a regular phone jack in the back, it's either the second, third, or fourth version.
Okay.
Is that what you have?
All right. So let me see now. I'm getting the 2 models mixed up, the H500 and the Y600. One of them has the display that's just the straight lines across with the numbers.
That's probably that's a 600 series set.
Okay,
yeah.
so the 500 is the round one with the.
It has the airplane dial.
Okay, right. And so I'm trying to remember what's on the back of that. But the oddball thing in that one was it had a 1 Sierra 5 tube instead of 1 Uniform 5. And I had a hard time finding the correct schematic for that, but I found it. It was in the radio.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't have to mess with it except to test that tube, but that was something different compared to the schematics I was finding online.
Okay. That's kind of weird because I've never seen that before. They usually take a 1R5. Or no, excuse me, not the 1S5, they use the 1U5.
Right. So
right,
what
later
we do is I took a picture of that schematic. I'd be happy to send you a copy if you'd like it.
Sure.
Okay.
Send it to my I have a Radio Wild 67 at gmail.com. I have a YouTube channel.
Are you good on QRZ?
I actually have if you take my email is good on QRZ if you could do it that way too. That's fine.
You. Okay, let me get a pen. I'll write that down. But thank you. That's great.
Kilo Charlie 2, recreational drug user.
Love it.
I'll tell you a quick story behind that. The guy that kind of elmered me, and he was an Italian guy, and he more or less put his foot up my dupa. He says, "Yo, Bob, this is back in 2006. You need to study. You're a smart guy. You can get your ham ticket." And now, unfortunately, he's a silent key, and I studied and did that, and now I'm a general. So when I got my thing sent to me from the FCC, I said, "Joe, no one's going to remember this. KC2R, and this is how he would say things. Bob, I just calmly say it, Bob, all you do is throw out your call, and if they don't hear you, just say, Kilo Charlie 2, recreational drug user. They'll never forget you. So how can you not miss that?
No, that's great.
So
that's fun. Cool.
Well, guys, I was gonna go get a regular, like I was gonna get like a short call, like a 4-digit ham call. But everybody that knows me from ham, I remember that guy. I've talked to Tim Tron on 80 meter or 40 meter AM, and I said, Tim, WA1HELR, this is KC2 recreational drug user, and he knows it's me.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's just weird.
That's funny. That's awesome.
So all right, real quick, 4 versions. So that was version 1. Version 2 had a voltage switch on the back. So if your line voltage was 107 volts or 150 volts or whatever, you could it had a screw with a cover over the switch, so you could move the switch back and forth depending on what your outlet power was. Version 3 just had the phone jack in the back of the chassis, nothing else. Version 4 is rare, and I had one, and like a dummy, I rolled it for a different radio. Version 4 had the 50 or socket in the chassis for the 50A1 ballast tube that was used in the 600 series radios. What that ballast tube was for was to help protect. It was help to protect any surging in the filament string.
Okay.
Zenith had a specification that with all, like, for example, your radio, with all 5 tubes in place, they preferred that you didn't go over 8.4 volts.
Right.
Now, I've done them safely at 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. I wouldn't go too far beyond that, because if you replace the selenium rectifier, you're going to throw a diode in there and a dropping resistor.
Yep.
So that's one of the things I do when I work on these things. I check that part out.
Yep.
What the ballast resistor did was it was there to help prevent surging, because back in the day, you remember maybe when you were kids, your line voltage sometimes, one day you're at 115 volts, next day you're 119 volts. That ballast tube kind of helped cushion all that.
Yeah. Okay.
So those were the 4 different chassis that went into that one radio.
Right. So the Y600 has the ballast tube. The H500 does not, for me.
Unless you have that last version, yeah.
Right. I don't have that. Now, which of the other 3 versions is it? I don't know. I'll have to try to remember what you said and go check it out. And if I think of it, I'll mention it next time we
if you know you don't have the ballast tube, it has to be one of the first 3.
Right. Okay. I'll check it out.
If you send me a picture of the back of the chassis, I could tell you.
Okay, I'll do that. Awesome. Thanks, Bob.
I think you have the first version, though, because it wouldn't surprise me if they did use the 1S5 in lieu of the other tube.
Right.
because that's the ones they used in the G500 series. So it looked like the radio I just showed you, but it was just about the same chassis that's in the H500.
Good stuff.
So,
All
and I
right.
even have here, let me do this. I took an extra bezel because I had a parts radio, still like this. Now, a lot of people have clock radios, but how many people do you know have radio clocks?
There we go.
I'll be
Very nice.
darned.
You familiar?
That's
Yeah, it
very
sure
nice.
does.
That's
I had
cool.
to take that out to get to the dial string.
So my wife actually let me have that in the dining room, which is amazing.
That's cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
Doesn't take up any floor space.
No,
Yeah.
no.
There you go.
And I just want to jump out here real quick because I know it's still late. Paul, I grew up, I'm 22 miles from New York City. So I grew up a Mets fan, not a Yankees fan. I'm surrounded by Yankees fan, but I was a Mets fan growing up as a kid. When we won the World Series in 1969, I was 11 years old. They had 4 pitchers. They had Tom Seaver. They had, I'm trying to remember, Jerry Koosman, Gary Gentry, and this rookie that at that time, 1969, not too many people have heard of, but maybe you did. I don't know. His name was Nolan Ryan.
Yep. And Gil Hodges would not even let him throw batting practice because he was so wild that he didn't want his teammates to get injured.
Yes.
Yep.
Then they had
Crazy.
Cal Kuntz and Tug McGraw in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember.
I know the whole roster. I was a Mets fan too.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
All the rest of my family were Mets fans. I was the lone Yankee fan, so
Cleon Jones and Tommy.
I remember all those names because there was usually on the TV.
What I tell people is
being left-handed, I was a big Ed Kranepool fan. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can go on like that forever. But the thing is, the Mets haven't won since '86, and the Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. So I explain to people, when stuff happens, so don't worry, I'm used to pain and suffering. I'm a Mets fan and a Jets fan.
57
So
years.
needless to say, now that I know the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl, I know a lot of you guys are probably Patriots fans. Listen, I'm rooting for Seattle because I can't stand the Patriots. Every time the Jets played them, they just went open season on my Jets.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So,
well, boys, it was a great meeting. There was some great stuff shown, and I think we hit some major facets. I mean, not just radios. We had ham receivers. We had this really cool Panasonic transistor radio that was shown. We have all sorts of good.
Oh, that was so cool.
You guys really covered all the bases tonight. So, vintage computers, all good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed this meeting.
It was a real diverse collection of stuff. I used to work with a guy who used to restore and race Chinese warboats. You talk about a narrow window.
Yeah, indeed.
It's nuts.
But, so next meeting, except I'll have to rope him in over email. I'm hoping that that Carl will resume the AWA museum photo walkthrough and hopefully get everybody excited about inspire you for the upcoming Vintage Electronics event on March 1st. At any rate, you guys meanwhile have a great 2 weeks. Stay warm, stay out of trouble. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys. We'll either talk to you over email or we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
very much, guys. Great seeing you all.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye now.